Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Brandon Dean. Welcome to our 2021 press conference. At this time, I want to introduce a man, a mentor of mine for 8 years. As of July 1, my boss. And now when I call him Alvin, he gives me a mean look. Please welcome our Executive Director, Mr. Alvin Briggs.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a great Tuesday morning to be here in Montgomery, Alabama, the capital of the great state of Alabama. At this time, because of, in essence, the time, we're going to ask the mayor of Montgomery, the 57th mayor of the city of Montgomery, Mr. Stephen Reed, to come to the podium. Mr. Reed, Mayor Reed, is a former athlete at Jeff Davis High School where he played football, receiver. And if I'm not wrong, I think y'all played in state championship your junior, senior year?
I wish we did.
Oh, all right. At this time, I'm asked Mayor Reed to come up to the podium and give us a welcome.
Good morning. They got a clock on me up here, so I can't be too long. I want to thank Director Briggs. I want to thank Brandon Dean for the invitation. It's good to see everybody here. I want to welcome all of you who participated in the Kickoff Classic. To Montgomery, we're glad to have you here. I wish we had made it to the state championship any of my years there, but we ran into a guy by the name of Fred Beasley a couple of those years at Lee High School, and I think he's still running from what he did to us a few of those years. So not quite there, but it's good to see the student athletes here. As well, I can still think about it. And I saw Dothan High School. I was like, I remember my last game. It was in the stadium down there. I had a number of tackles. I had one pick, and had a real good game down there in Dothan. But Dothan always had a lot of good players, a lot of good coaches, as did all these communities that are represented here. But high school sports is very special to me, not only because I played, but because of the impact it had on me. The impact it had on me went way beyond the games or the scoreboard, but really went to the practices, the life lessons that I learned doing two-a-days, spring practices. All those things still stick with me. A lot of my teammates and I still talk. We're in chat groups, reliving the old glory days, sometimes reimagining the real outcomes of those. But it's good, it's special, and I think it's important that the Alabama High School Athletic Association realized that it's important for us here in Montgomery to not only support this event, but to promote it. And we want to make sure that you're welcome. We want to make sure that your priority here and things that we can do better, whether it be through football, whether it be through basketball, or other tournaments that you may have, that we continue to meet the standard that we have set. And I will let you know that even as we discuss things that we want to do here in Montgomery, high school sports is a big part of that. Investing in our middle school sports and our programs are a big part of that. Again, not because everyone's going to get a scholarship, not because everyone's going to play in the SEC or the other conferences, SWAC or anything else, Ohio Valley, whatever it may be, any of the big conferences, but because of, again, what you learn playing sports. What I learned took me to Division II football, where I lettered and played at Morehouse College. And again, I want to correct the history. My coach told me I wasn't good enough to play wide receiver because I couldn't catch reliably. So I played defensive back, but I enjoyed that. And so it's one of those things where, Alvin, I do want to take you along with me because I think my introductions will be a lot better if you're there. Because when we think about our high school days, they stick with you regardless if you're a mayor, regardless if you're a coach, you're a teacher, you're an entrepreneur, CEO, or executive, or an administrator. You remember those days. They're special. You remember the guys you played with, and you remember those guys that you played against. And so I'm just excited that we had this event here, and obviously during this challenging time around COVID-19 and the Delta variant, that we can actually have the game. We've been back and forth with our task force here, not only in Montgomery, but throughout this country as mayors, talking about events and talking about what people are going to do around sporting venues. And for those of you who follow the NFL, you've seen what the New Orleans Saints are doing around vaccinations. Other entities are thinking about the same thing. So we're just glad to be able to play. We're glad that you all be able to play in front of crowds, your parents, your teachers, your friends, all your supporters. And again, we want you to have a positive experience here in Montgomery. We want you to remember your experience here. We hope that you'll visit some of the sites I think can be very educational for our young people here to get a chance to visit some of those sites that we have here in the city. And we had University of Alabama Athletic Director Greg Byrne in town a couple of weeks ago visiting the Equal Justice Initiative's Legacy Museum and Memorial for Peace and Justice. And so when you have a lot of those sports leaders, it tells us about what we have here in Montgomery that we think we can offer as well from an educational standpoint. So with that said, I probably talked longer than they wanted me to talk looking at this stopwatch, but I just really want to welcome everybody that's a part of this and really want to thank you for what you do and what you pour into young men and young women all around this state, because I'm evidence of what happens when you have good coaches, good teammates, good leaders, good voices showing you another example of positive leadership and ways to give back and ways that you can be successful outside of the uniform, just in the game of life. And so that's what we want you all to be, and we want to continue to play a role in that, and we hope to be longtime partners with you moving forward. So thanks so much, and I wish everybody good luck, and regardless of what the scoreboard says, all of y'all are winners, and we continue to watch you throughout the rest of the season. Stay safe. Thank you.
Again, we want to thank the mayor's commitment to athletics in the state of Alabama. He came in and stepped right in and right away said he wanted to be involved and continue to be involved, and we appreciate that. At this time, I want to thank a few people and recognize a few people that help us along the way. Our radio network, with Caleb Brooks, who's here now, who's sitting here now, with Randy Lee and Brett Pritchett, part of our radio network. We want to thank the NFHS and WOTM, Vince Early. We appreciate what they do for us and helping us broadcast, the NFH network. We want to thank all our Super 7 representatives from the city of Birmingham, where the Super 7 will be held in December. The mayors of Tuscaloosa and Auburn, Opelika. We appreciate what those cities do for us in the sport of football. But we want to thank all our mayors across the great state of Alabama that welcome you to our championships and welcome us to our championships, and we appreciate what all they do for us. It's a great venue. I also want to recognize two groups that are out in the lobby that's doing live radio broadcasts. The Ticket with Doug Amos and Daryl Dafford, and Graham Dunn, who's doing his radio broadcast live. We'll be asking for some of you gentlemen and ladies to come interview as we leave here. It speaks a lot and speaks volume when we have live broadcast here, when they want to come here and interview our young people and interview our coaches. That means a lot. So we appreciate you being here, the media being here, as we said earlier. We appreciate what you do for us, and we're looking forward to an exciting year, exciting fall, and we have some fall sport coaches represented up here that will be coming to the podium to talk about their seasons and as they kick off with cross country, with swimming, with volleyball. So I want to give you one bit of information as I get ready to step from the podium. Alabama was the only state that started on time last season, finished every championship on time, and had every championship. And that's a commitment from our schools, our communities, and you as the media. that we were able to give our students and our community the chance to participate and do the things they wanted to do to try to get back to some sense of normalcy, as we continue to try to get back to some sense of normalcy. But we still have to do whatever we have to do to help mitigate this virus and do those things and social distances and do all those things. If we continue to do that, we will still be able to finish our season and have our championship seasons. So we're looking forward to that and continue to doing that. And at this time, I'm asked Brandon Dean to come back up to the podium so we can talk about the Kickoff Classic.
Thank you, Coach Briggs. A new season brings new excitement, new energy. And today we have 3 outstanding coaches here to talk about their season coming up. First up. Okay. Yes, sir. You the boss, yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, we're going to do a picture. Yeah. Tell you what, I knew we was going to do a picture. I said this a long time ago. All these people. Let's thank the mayor again.
Coach Briggs, can I start back now?
Yes.
Okay. I want to bring up a young man, very energetic coach from Trinity High School with a cross-country coach, Coach Jeff McIntyre.
Thanks for that. Hey, good morning. My name is Jeff McIntyre. I told Coach that this is my first time doing this. I was a little bit nervous, and so he made me be the first person to go up here right after the mayor, so no pressure. But if I mess up, then y'all will think it's what you're supposed to do, and y'all mess up the same way. So that's a little bit of a relief. My name is Jeff McIntyre. I'm with Trinity Presbyterian. I'm the head cross-country coach, indoor track and outdoor track. I want to thank, I guess he left, but I wanted to thank Mayor Reed for his role in having some sense of normalcy last spring with our athletic season. This is my second year as the head coach of cross country, and y'all may not realize this. You know, there's a lot of people that want to try out for basketball, want to try out for baseball, want to be on the football team, play Friday night under the lights. There is not nearly as many people who come and are begging to run cross country. And hey, coach, I want to go run 10 miles today in the hot sun. And so a big part of what we do is recruit to find kids that want to do it. And so it was the next fall was going to be my first year as head coach, and I had my recruiting poster set up, and I was going to talk to all these kids to get them to come out. And then COVID hit, and we were out of school the entire spring, and I had no chance to talk to kids. So my first year as head coach, we had 4 girls starting out the season, which is not enough to fill the team. You have to have at least 5. We finished the season with 6 boys. We actually had to go into the first period PE class and find some girls who were willing to come run and give it a try to come out and run cross country. And we had enough to fill the team. I think our boys finished 8th in the state, and our girls finished 4th. They ended up doing really well. So now that we've had a full season and a full school year last spring, our numbers are a lot better. We're going to start the season with 26 kids this year. I'm very excited about that. We actually had no seniors last year on the boys' side, and no seniors again this year. We have a young team that's growing up. A couple of our guys that are going to do very well at state. Chapel Hill is a junior. He ran a 17:30 last year, and he's been running a ton of miles this summer. Carter Younger is right behind him. He's always run indoor track, but he's played football in the past. He's done really well in the distance events without ever training for distance. So this is the first summer that I've actually had him to put some real miles in. So I'm very excited about what he's going to do this fall. Some younger returners, J.T. Matheson, Paul Renner are going to be difference makers for us, and we have some newcomers. Jackson McIntyre is a 7th grader. He'll fight for a spot in that top 5, along with Wilson Albrecht and Matthew Blake. On the girls' side, we've got some really good returners. Catherine Warren was a selection to run in the North-South cross-country meet and play in the North-South soccer game. So we're excited to have her. This is her senior year. And then a junior, Marley Smith, was in the top 25 in the state last year. Both have been running really well this summer. But I'll say this, at a school like Trinity, we have 80% of our student body plays a sport, and 80% of those kids play multiple sports. So it's really hard to find people that, they may want to run, but they're already committed. So we have people this year who are, doing cheer in the fall, who are also doing cross country. We have people who are doing volleyball, who are also doing cross country, playing 2 sports at this, not just in the same year, but at the same season. For that reason, cross country has in a lot of ways become kind of a ministry to the other sports. We have probably 1/3 of our kids are runners or year-round runners, but 2/3 of our kids are soccer players, baseball players, basketball, volleyball, who use it as a way to get in shape for their main sport. And we're grateful for that. As long as they're out there working hard and getting better, and they run better than they realize they would be able to, and then they get to their main sport, and they're just saying, Coach Mack, I can't believe how I'm able to run the whole game, and everybody else is getting tired, and it's like, I feel fine. So anyway, but Coach, I want to thank you for having us, and I don't know what to do at this point. Am I taking questions, or am I shaking hands? That's it. All right. Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Next up, bring our this year's South volleyball coach in the All-Star game. Kimberly Moncrief has won 11 area titles at Elmore County, so please welcome Kimberly Moncrief.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Brandon for contacting me and asking me to come today. I represent a small town, Eclectic, Alabama. We just moved up to 5A this past classification, and we've been competing in 4A up until this year, or last year actually. And so we're kind of a small rural area, but we love our sports at Elmore County High School. We have a wonderful administrative team who supports all of our athletic programs, and they always are good to support our girls and whatever we want or what we desire. We go to our administration, and they're very good to help accommodate us for our girls to compete on a high level as they can. I've been the varsity volleyball coach at Elmore County High School since 2009. That was a long time ago. I will begin my lucky 13th season this year, and I'm excited about that. In the past 12 years, we have won 11 area championships, as he said, and our girls are excited about competing. We went from being a sport that was just a pastime for our girls to play before basketball and softball to a sport that girls are so excited to try out for and want to play now in the spring. I hear all the time, Coach Moncrief, when are tryouts? When are we going to start? We went from 9 girls on our varsity program to now we have 29 between varsity and our JV. So we've really seen a exponential growth of volleyball in our area and in our geographical area also with the people who are around us. The competitiveness has grown tremendously since 2009 when I was able to, blessed to be able to take over the program. Last year was obviously one of the more difficult years because of COVID. We did go through a shutdown period where we had some girls test positive, and I know a lot of other teams did as well. We bounced back from that, came back, won some area games, won an area tournament, went to regionals, got to the second round of regionals, and the day before, literally the practice before the second round, we lost one of our starting middle hitters because of contact tracing. She sat next to somebody on a trade school bus and had to go home and miss, her junior playoff season. Fortunately for her and for us as well, too, it was just her junior game, so she's back this year. She's excited and totally wants to get ready to go to playoffs so she can have that experience again. And we love the format that AHSAA does for playoffs. It gives all of our girls a chance to get out and play with a lot of different with people coming to watch. It's a big stage. They love that. And it meant a lot to this girl. She cried tears, I cried tears, and then we went and played volleyball. Our girls battled. We lost to Alberta 3-1 in the second round of regionals. And but this year we're hoping to come back and battle again. I have 4 returning seniors this year. They are Bree Autry and CJ Thornton, Shauna O'Daniel. Shauna's the one that missed last year, the second round. And we also have, knew I was going to forget somebody. Emma Brown, I'm sorry, Emma Brown also will be returning with us this year. And we have some younger girls that I believe that will be impact players for us that, you know, I think you will hear some of their names pop up over this season. We have 2 junior outside hitters that have really done a tremendous job for us last year as sophomores. One of those is Lizzie Brown, and the other is Coranda Lozada. Coranda is about 5'3", but she can jump about as high as the net is, and it's incredible to watch her jump and hit the ball. I think she'll get a lot of notice this year. We have a sophomore setter named Abby Williams, and she's incredible with what she can do with the ball setting. And we also have a defensive player, another junior, Haley O'Brien, who will probably get some time with us with libero, and I think she's going to come out and make some statements as well. We're looking forward to our season. We start next week with Stanhope Elmore and Benjamin Russell. Then we'll be here at the Mayor's Cup, and I think the Mayor's Cup is one of the best tournaments in the state. We can come and see a lot of really tough competition early on, so we know what we need to do to go back and prepare and be ready for the rest of our season. We look forward to our season. We're excited about it, and you know, again, thank you for letting us come and talk today, and go Panthers.
Thank you, Kim. Next, we'll bring up the 3-time defending champion in swimming and diving, Lisa Atkinson, T.R. Miller High School.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. My name is Lisa Atkinson, and I am from T.R. Miller High School. I helped develop the swim and dive program in our school 6 years ago. This is our 6th season starting this year, and we have won the last 3 state championships with our boys program. It just didn't happen overnight, and I know many coaches know that. This is something that had been in the works for a long time. We had some kids that started out swimming club, and we needed an opportunity for our students to be able to present themselves when they got to the high school level, and then be able to find college opportunities past that. So we went to our school board, and we recommended they adopt us as a high school team with the stipulation that we could support ourselves financially, which we've been able to do as a small program. And our team, we started out our very first season, and our boys program only scored 3 points at the state swim meet. In the last 3 years, we tied with Boaz in 2018 with 4 boys swimming for the state championship. And in 2019, we had to score 215 points to come home with the trophy. And then last year with COVID, 218 points. I'll tell you, swimming and dive is probably one of the harder sports. And of course, any coach would tell you that because our kids at T.R. Miller compete in more than one sport. Most all of our kids are involved in band, volleyball, and football. And we have to share our athletes, which I know many schools have to do that. But it's tough on our kids. They'll go to football practice, and then they'll come straight to the pool, and they'll swim for an hour and a half, and they go home and try to do their studies and keep up with their grades. Our students are phenomenal as far as that goes. Our parents and our swim coach, Angel Boyd, she does a phenomenal job. She's our YMCA coach. Our school has been great to our kids as far as working with them to let them compete in more than one sport. And I can't go on without giving a heads to our principal, Mr. Chuck Alford, and then our superintendent, Dr. Varner, for what they do to support our program. I'm looking forward to what our team is going to do this year. We have several returning members of our swim program. Our first was senior Nolan Atkinson. And the name, yes, he's my son. He is our freestyle swimmer. He'll swim the freestyle, the 50 freestyle and the 100 freestyle, and I'm looking forward to what he's going to bring this year as his senior year. He swam in the state meet last year with a torn labrum. He tore in the last football game of the season for T.R. Miller, and then ended up finishing second in the 100 free and third in the 50 free, and that's just a testament to kind of the toughness that our kids have to do in order to compete at our school. I also have returning Jacob Thalen. He's going to be a senior, and he is our only diver. We were fortunate to have a student that drove to Mobile several times a week last year to learn how to dive. We don't have the facilities in Bruton. And he was able to compete the state meet last year in Huntsville, and he finished third in the state. And I knew when he finished third, I said, guys, Jacob did his part. Now it's time for us to take care of our business and come home with a trophy. I also have Caleb Kent, and he's our utility swimmer. He can swim pretty much anything. He's a returning senior this year that I'm looking forward to seeing. I have Ezra Carpenter. He is also a football player, and he swims the butterfly for us. Last year, he did not get to swim everything he wanted to because he was recovering from a torn labrum also during the season, and so he was back with us in October. So you can see our kids, they really put in the work as far as where swimming goes. Our girls program is very successful. We don't have as many girls swim as we do boys. Our girls, we compete with volleyball and cheerleading. And our girls, while they do want to compete, they don't always get to do everything. We started our program in 2016 with 10 kids, and today we have 34 kids in our program. And that's a test to what our kids are willing to do at our school. Like the cross-country coach, I have to go out and ask kids. And normally when I go to them and I ask, I'm like, hey, you want to come swim? And they're like, no. I'm like, really, you want to come swim? And so eventually they tend to come and join our program, and I look forward to what they do each year. So I can't leave without sharing a success story. So I had a swimmer last year. His name is Brooks Feely. He's a junior this year. He was a cross-country runner. He ran cross-country for my husband before he retired, and he decided he wanted to come swim as a cross-training. And so we got him in the pool, and as the season progressed, I could just see his time just improving every single event that we competed in. By the end of the season, he was swimming at the state meet, which was an accomplishment considering the times had dropped, for a kid to be able to compete in that event. Kids like that is what makes your program successful. You can do and say whatever you want as a coach. You can talk to your head is, spinning in circles. It's what the kids are willing to do. It's what you can make them believe they can do. And then they can believe in themselves. That's what makes our program a success, is our students and what they believe they can do for themselves. Anyway, I look forward to this season. We start our first meet is in September, and then we hopefully will be ready to contend at state without COVID this year. Let's hope. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lisa. Moving on to our event this week, our Kickoff Classic, Thursday and Friday here in Montgomery at Crampton Bowl at 7 o'clock. First, we're going to bring up Guntersville head coach Lance Reese. Been there 11 years, won 89 games. Please welcome Lance Reese, Guntersville High School.
Thank you very much. This is my 31st season to coach football at Guntersville. This will be my 12th season to be head coach. And there's not a lot of new experiences that I can have in the game of football. So when we got invited to come down and play in the Kickoff Classic, certainly excited me to have a new experience. Our players were excited. Our assistant coaches were excited. I can tell this summer has benefited us because we've kind of got a sense of urgency we hadn't had before. The summer is a time to, work hard and get strong and do 7-on-7s and things of that nature. But with the Kickoff Classic, we've probably spent more time on special teams and conditioning than we've ever had, because we know what a big challenge this is going to be facing a great team like Hanley. Coach Strain does a great job. They're defending state champions. So we know we're going to have to be ready here on Thursday to give our best effort. The entire school's excited about it. I want to thank our principal, Mr. James, and our superintendent, Dr. Barnett, for their support. I know that our cheerleaders and our band are excited. They're going to come down, they're going to leave before us and come down and enjoy Montgomery. And then we're going to come down. I told them we're coming down for a game, but they're going to come enjoy the experience. So we've got 15 seniors on this year's football team. We have 7 returning starters on offense and defense. Last year we had some success. We won 10 games. We averaged a little over 50 points a game in the regular season, gave up 8 on defense. So we're going to try to obviously focus on those areas that we need to improve on and try to keep it going. Lost some good players, but we feel like we've got some good guys returning. And just once again, excited about the opportunity. I brought 2 seniors here to represent the football team. I brought Miller Kuttner, who's a senior defensive lineman. Miller, you want to stand up? You want him to come up here? Okay, just go ahead and stand up, Miller. Miller's a senior defensive lineman, 4-year starter. He led the team in sacks, led the team in tackles for loss, and he's also our long snapper. So long snappers are very important if you know anything about the game of football. We've got a lot of trust in Miller, so thank you, Miller. And then I brought senior Cooper Davidson. Cooper's a 4-year starter, starts for us at receiver and defensive back. Cooper led the team in receptions, touchdown catches, and also led the team in interceptions. Cooper was in Montgomery during All-Star Week playing in the North-South basketball all-star game, so multi-sport athlete. But we have 15 seniors that are very important to us, and I want to thank these 2 for coming and represented that group. Once again, we thank the High School Athletic Association for inviting us to come, and looking forward to Thursday night. Thank you.
Thank you, Lance. I appreciate that. As you alluded to, they'll be facing the defending 4A state champion, Hanley High School, coached by Larry Strain. He's been there 6 seasons, won a state title in 2016 and 2020. So please welcome head coach Larry Strain.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here. Coach Dean, Coach Briggs, Alabama High School Athletic Association staff, we appreciate you putting on this event. It is important to us in Roanoke, Alabama. I promise it is. I've had numerous telephone calls from parents and people in the community, what time does the game start? Tell me, at one point on social media, I think it had us playing on Friday night, and it was a big turmoil in Roanoke, Alabama, trying to figure out exactly what date we were going to play and who we were going to play. But our community is definitely excited. I thank the city of Montgomery for helping and putting on this event and welcoming us here to town to play this game. As I've already mentioned, football is an important sport to us in our community because it's important to our kids and what it does for our kids. I know last year we keep talking about COVID the whole time, and it changed everybody, there's no doubt. But we went through a season last year where we had as many as 4 games that we didn't play. So you would practice the whole time, and you never knew if you was going to get to play on Friday night at 7 o'clock or not. Sometimes we had a period there that we went 2 weeks and didn't even play a football game. Also, if you remember last year during our first home ball game, which was in the first part of September, we didn't have another home football game until the end of the season, game 10. That's how long we went. But a big story that happened that first night that we played at Hanley against Mumford, we had a kid by the name of Nate Pike that literally had a stroke on the field. And at the time, we had no clue what was going on. But anyway, he had a stroke on the field, and we thought we was going to lose him that night. Of course, he was airlifted and shipped to Atlanta to Children's Hospital up there. And, we've later come to find out that he has acute aplastic anemia is what he's got. And so, matter of fact, you talk about how important this is to all of them. He's supposed to be a senior this time. And anyway, he went through a bone marrow transplant this week, just to tell you. So that's kind of brought our team together because of this one individual. You think that football is important and sport's important, and they are, but when it goes to affecting people's lives, and the truth is there was no hit in the game that caused him to have the stroke. It was just basically he didn't have enough red blood cells there to and the game of football actually helped him, because if they said if he'd been in a car wreck or something like that, got cut real bad, he'd probably never made it to the hospital. But because of the stress of the game of football, it showed up. But that was a real blessing. I was the one last year during COVID was doing all the crazy things. Everybody kept talking about 6 and 15. I had in the Cherokee County game, I had 9 starters that had to sit out. In the next ball game, I had 29 starters that was out. My nurse kept holding me to this 6 and 15 rule when we traveled on the bus. So I got, I guess, been a little smart, Alec, about it all. But the deal was this. I said, no, if you're going to hold me to 6 and 15, what I did was I put them on a bus, measured where the 6 feet was apart from each other, and every 14 minutes we rotated on the bus, and then nobody ever stayed 15 minutes together. And then we got to the ball game, we would turn around and put half of them on the other bus. But those are things that we had to come through, but I think in the end it made us better. I really do. This season, we're looking for a new season. We're excited about it being here. Seem like we've been practicing forever. We have roughly 70 kids right now that is on our football team that has been through fall camp, that has worked all summer long to get us where we're ready to play on Thursday night. I know Coach said back here, we're excited about getting to play Guntersville. They got a great program. They've been hugely successful. The main thing is it's the start of the season, what we're excited about. You have that opportunity to get on the field and do what we love to do. Today I brought 2 young men with us today. Brian Joyner, if you'll stand up, he's a senior. He plays strong defensive end for us, and he also plays right guard for us. He's a very fine young man. The other young man you probably don't need to be introduced is Tay Meadows. Last year, I think alone, he had something like 1,200 yards rushing alone in the 5 playoff games in last season. But he's a fine young man as well. We're excited about him getting back on the field. I think he's got, 15 offers right now, D1 offers is what Tay has. But we look forward to getting back on the field. We appreciate you coming today, and we're excited about the season. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Now to our Friday night game featuring Bob Jones versus Dothan High School. This next coach is facing his old team Friday night in Dothan High School. He's been there at Bob Jones 2 years now, son of Hall of Fame coach Lewis White. Please welcome Coach Kelvis White.
Thank y'all for having me here today. I'm excited about the opportunity to play Friday night. Just kind of recapping last year, with COVID, kind of like echoing everything the rest of the coaches said. It was a tough year, especially for me. I get hired late February. I work 1 week and we get shut down. So I've had maybe 1 meeting with the team, and so we were trying to have Zoom meetings all doing the while we were out, and had the opportunity to start that summer, and it was tough. Because being a new coach, a new staff, and we're learning. First day, I'm learning names. In the summertime, and but again, the kids bought into what we're trying to do, and we got better over the summer and went into the season and started off pretty good. And again, and we got hit hard with COVID, so we got shut down, and we kind of never really recovered from it, just from last year. And in the first game back, I think we were shut down for 2 weeks. Talking about the entire team. And to tell you a funny story, my brother's the head coach at Sparkman High School, so we get shut down for 2 weeks, and we come back that Monday. And we're scheduled to play Sparkman on a Thursday. So I called him, as a brother, you would think he would move the game to Friday to help me out a little bit, give me an extra day. We had to call my parents. We had a little family meeting, and he still wouldn't do it. So I didn't talk to him for a long time after that. But of course, we went out, and they had a really good team last year, and so we came up a little short. But just moving forward to this season, just to have a off season, that's I took it for granted, until I was in this situation. To have a off season in the weight room, to kind of really, push those guys and get to know those guys, and for them to gel a little bit, and into the spring practice. And we had a great spring. just to carry over from the off season and even into the summer. Just we had some passing camps, some lineman camps, and until today, I think we're miles ahead of where we were this time last year, just because we've had all those things to prepare. And moving forward to this season, we're excited about it. Offensively, we have some guys that can play. We have some weapons. It starts up front with the offensive line, and I brought one today, one offensive lineman. Send up Colin. Colin Jones. He's a senior offensive lineman. It's going to be his second year starting. Again, a leader on the field and off the field. And thank you, Colin. A really good player. And along with him, another young man who's a class 2023 kid is Maddox Sunderman. He was All-State last year as a sophomore. So we have two guys on offensive linemen that are very talented and very big. So we have some size up there along with the rest of the guys. Also at receiver, we have another young man that started for us as a 10th grader last year, Kelly Fields. I think his dad is the all-time leading receiver at Alabama A&M, and he's a young man that works hard, and he's very productive, and he's coming back for his junior season. At running back, we return a guy, Terrence Salter, who's a really good back, and had a really solid season for us last year. And at quarterback, we had a young man that he didn't start, but he rotated and played a lot of quality minutes, Ray Hardy, and he's going to have an opportunity to be a really special player. He's really athletic. And like I said, he throws the ball really well, too. So offensively, we're excited about that. Defensively, again, we start up front. So we return a guy who's a 3-year starter, Cedric Jackson, in the middle. He's a big 300-pound kid who's – you're not taking notes, are you, Coach? I see you. I thought you were writing over there. But Cedric is, again, is a 3-year starter. He's done a great job for us. He's back for his senior year. I also brought our starting middle linebacker, sent up Jaden Edwards. Again, he started some as a sophomore, started every game last year. He's back for his senior year. A super talented young man, really smart. He's going to be anchoring the defense in the middle. Again, there's another linebacker, Rowan Jones, Colin's brother, actually. He was a running back last year, so he's going to be playing some backer as well. And also on defense in the secondary, that's kind of one of our strong suits. We have three-year starters. So these guys, they took their lumps as 10th graders, took some more lumps last year, but, they're back, and, 2 of those guys have offers to play college ball. And, again, we're excited about that's DJ Davenport, Cozy Scarbrook, and Malachi Steele. Again, that's a talented group. And in the kicking game, Joseph Wheat, he handled our kicking duties last year, and he's back. So, again, we're excited about the opportunity. I've been getting most of my social media, and I was in Dothan for 8 years, and most of my social media are a lot of Dothan people. So they've been harassing me pretty good, my co-workers and everything about this game. So, but I tell them, man, I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of familiar faces, a lot of coaches that I work with, a lot of, so it's almost like a family reunion to get to see some guys. And I know coaches are going to have them ready to play. I've been knowing Raymond for a long time. He's him and my son played youth league for his dad, actually. So I've seen him score a lot of touchdowns. So I know what he can do. And I tell my guys that all the time. I say he's a good player. But we're excited about the opportunity, and I want to thank y'all for having us.
Thank you, Kelvis. Last but not least, I want to bring up a person that I've known for the past 5 years. And a quick story. Back in 2015, he was coaching at Park Crossing High School here in Montgomery on a Thursday night. And that night, the band couldn't come to the game at all from Park Crossing. And he and I had some strong words, very heated conversation. You remember that? Yeah. After the game, he found me. I found him. We hugged, shook hands. But he's a great guy, a great friend of mine. Please welcome Walter Greider.
You print media can write Smitty instead of Walter. Only my family calls me that. Just excited to be here. I want to thank Brandon and Alvin for having us. It was kind of funny how this game came about. Kelvis and I had talked about playing a preseason game, and the agreement was I was going to drive to Madison, Alabama, and play him in a game that didn't count. Now, that was a tough sell to my administration in Dothan, Alabama. But we found out that the Coaches Association was looking for teams for the game, and I called Jamie Lee at the time, and I was actually on vacation at spring break in Panama City. great perk for living in Dothan, Alabama, by the way. And said, hey, we're talking about playing. Well, actually, at first I called Kelvis to see if it was okay with him, and then he said, yeah, sure, and we could meet in the middle and play, and luckily, fortunately, that was the game that they selected, and we're excited to be here. It's a great chance for our program to get on a bigger stage, to get some media coverage in other parts of the state. Just like the rest of the coaches, COVID was really a difficult year for us. We actually missed 3 weeks during the summer, and we were getting ready to play Hoover in 0-week game last year, and on Monday, our superintendent closed our program down for 2 weeks, which was a very tough pill to swallow. So we out for 2 weeks, practiced 4 days, and played our biggest rival, Enterprise, on Friday night, and in a game that we really expected to play well, and we didn't. And it was really tough for us to recover from that. Those 2 weeks really affected us even more past that game, the loss of conditioning and everything else that goes along with that. And it was a tough year. We only played 8 of our 10 games. The kids fought as hard as they could. We actually played Central Phoenix City with 2 offensive linemen able to play on the roster. We took 3 D linemen, turned them around, made them O linemen, went to Phoenix City and played the number 1 or 2 team in the state at the time. So, it was a difficult year, but I was proud of the way our kids handled it. They fought through it. So going into this season, we felt like it was a great time to hit the reset button with our program. Most of you know this will be just the 3rd year of us having a team as one school in Dothan since the merger. So we hit the reset. We've got several new staff members. We treated the off season like it was our first year, and really tried to reestablish the culture of our program, what our expectations are, and I think the kids did a great job buying into it. They've worked extremely hard throughout the off season in the summer, and to get ready for this game. I think the guys are really excited about it. Unlike Coach White, we don't have a ton of experience coming back. We do have 8 or 9 seniors that'll start on defense, but out of those 8 or 9, there's only 1 that's played significant minutes in a ball game. And on the offensive side, we don't other than our quarterback, there's not a senior skill player over there. So we're inexperienced. I think we've got some really talented kids. We've got a chance to have a really good football team, and it just is going to depend on how we develop over the course of the beginning of the season. But we've got some really good playmakers on offense, big, strong offensive line that we feel really good about. Our quarterback, I brought him with us. I'll introduce all those guys in just a minute, is a kid that man, I'm going to tell you, he's a kid that anybody in this room would be proud to have for a son. He's a guy that hadn't ever started a game as a quarterback in any of his career, and he's going to start for us Friday night, and he has done a tremendous job of working and building himself into a quality player. And just a little anecdote about him, we only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster, other than we use Raymond some at quarterback. I won't tell you about that, but as a backup emergency guy. But the other quarterback is, for the last 3 weeks, has been out with COVID. And Javier has taken every snap at practice. When I say every snap, I'm talking about 1s and 2s, team, skelly, routes on air, you name it. He's thrown every ball. He's taken every snap. And I've never had a kid able to do that. And the really exciting thing for me as a coach to see is that when he's running quarterback with the 2s, he's just as focused. He's practicing just as hard. He's trying to be as good as he can be with that group as he is when he's going with the starters. So really excited about him. On the defensive side, we're inexperienced as far as game experience, but we do have a lot of seniors over there. We're fairly athletic. We think we can run. I'm excited to see him. I've got a new defensive coordinator this year, Spencer Pybus. He was with us last year as linebackers coach, and I promoted him. Some of y'all may know his name. He played at Auburn University. He's a former Northview graduate, great guy. He's really gotten a sense of urgency under those guys, and they're flying around and trying to have a little more fun this year and run to the ball, and I'm excited about what we can do defensively. Again, just grateful for the association for having us. Stand up, guys. This is Javier Jackson is number 8, our quarterback. I brought Raymond Blackman. He's a junior slot receiver for us. He's a really special player. We're going to see a lot of him in the next 2 years. Number 2 here is Zaylin Henry. He's a linebacker for us on the defensive side that we're really excited about. Zaylin is committed to Southern Miss. All 3 of these guys they're really our leaders on the team, and I'm just proud to have them with us. Y'all can sit down now. Raymond is an exciting slot guy that we're going to try to get the ball to a lot, Coach. I know you probably are aware of that. I have to get on Javier at practice to tell him there are other guys on the team to throw the ball to. But again, we're excited to be here and grateful for the media to show up. And it's a chance for us in our community to really put our product on the stage and let the state of Alabama see what we're about in Dothan, Alabama, and excited, looking forward to the game. Thank you.
Thank you, Smitty. Again, those games are Thursday and Friday here in Montgomery at 7 o'clock both nights. Tickets will be sold online on GoFan, $10 a piece. I want to thank the City of Montgomery, Mayor Reed, Kay McCreary, Ed Card, and Murray Wilson for their help with this game and event. Also, in closing, you can have interviews one-on-one with the players here up front after this media session. Also, we have lunch out front too, here in our hallway. Thank you so much.
Coach, be careful, Coach.
I appreciate it.
Thanks. That's no problem.